When a kid starts looking at school like this, then more kids will come to school, more kids will pay attention, more kids will learn, more kids will be inquisitive. We will have a wonderful society. Now, you had 3 different institutions probably represented with 3 different answers. Somebody may say to create livelihoods for human beings. Somebody may say just to create better human beings. Somebody may say just to keep the evolution of mankind going, we need schools, we need education. People must know how the world works. If the child gets hidden in that maze of academic curriculum or whatever curriculum is there in your school, every day the future comes walking or in a bus or on a cycle or a scooter, or some very rich people come in car also to your school every day. That is the future. Somebody else has another fragment of knowledge, extract that and put it. In the process, your mind also gets fertilized with a million new ideas. That is the essence of teaching today. Suggest all principals, please put this photograph somewhere, let your kids see this. It's an outstanding trivia information. Most human beings don't know about this. The principal cannot do anything by themselves or herself or himself. A great principal gets the entire team alongside. Jai Hind, and thank you for the invitation. So I have to start somewhere when I was in class 5. This is a school in Sikandrabad. The class teacher said, I have to take you to the principal. That was terrifying. This morning when I was received, I was told as I got out of the car, come, let me take you to 150 principals. You can imagine how terrifying that thought was. But be that as it may, I'm a very poor advertisement for academics. So you'll have to bear with my views on schools, academics, teachers in general. My wife has been a teacher for about 30 years and a principal for maybe the last 5 or 6 years of that. Still works in some part of education. And we don't discuss schools at home. Keeps for a happy married relationship. Yeah. So I'm a poor advertisement. So I walked out of a small college here in Chennai on Mount Road, not far from Adyar. And I left that after about 62 days in that college, and I went to join the National Defense Academy. It's a fairly popular college. I think most kids, at least boys of most of the schools of which principals are represented here, would give an arm and a leg to join that college. Most people who graduate from that college also go to the Gemini flyover, below the flyover at least, to that embassy on the left side and ask for a visa and then go abroad. So I was 13th ranked in the IIT entrance. I left and joined the Indian Army. So today probably, every principal would take me to the nearest shrink and get my head examined for doing that. But that is how life unfolds. So I have a different perspective on education, and I have no qualifications, so I cannot stand here and pontificate. I don't intend to do that. What I will do is share my experiences. And we go through what I believe leaders in general and school leaders in particular must do. And I will convey this as parallels or axioms of what we do in the army and see what we can take away from this. So I have to also confess that before I was invited here, I didn't know an organization called Sahodaya existed. I told you we don't discuss schools at home. So I didn't know. I have since been through the websites of all the different Sahodayas, including the 5 or 6 inside Tamil Nadu only, the clusters, and I'm amazed at the work you do. So my heartfelt compliments to all of you. I am ashamed that I didn't know it existed. So you do a fantastic job. I've seen your mission, your objectives, what you do. I'd like to add one little bit. Somewhere down the line, all those Sahodayas must push upward, because I didn't see in that facilitate policy intervention or facilitate policy formulation. Now that must be the single most primary cause for our existence. That is when change will start to happen. So I will go through, that's all right. My staff officer is a little embarrassed that my coat tail is not correctly tucked in. So this is better, Rahul? Yes. Yeah. So I go through these experiences of mine as I see them. Now, I've also been shot and wounded 5 times. So obviously I'm very lucky. There are people who fall off a pavement in a bathroom and die. I've been shot 5 times. And I walk, I run, I cycle, I do all kinds of crazy things. I'm all right. So that's luck. But for me, let me ask you, ma'am, what is the predominant color on the screen? It's got a multitude of colors. Which is the color that occupies the maximum space?
The red and the pink, the bright red.
One color. Red. Awesome. The answer is black. Black occupies the largest color, yet most of us look at red. That is how schools must be. So when somebody goes past a school, you should just stop and say, wow. Like I did when I walked into this hall. So therefore, I need to thank the artist Shilo Shiv Suleiman of Karadi Tales for having put together this graphic. Awesome. This graphic actually made me stop at the entrance. This is how schools must be. When a kid starts looking at school like this, then more kids will come to school, more kids will pay attention, more kids will learn, more kids will be inquisitive. We will have a wonderful society. So before we go any further, ma'am, since you said black, I have a question. What is the purpose of education? To create thinkers. To open minds. To find a uniqueness. Ma'am, the problem with these 3 answers, they're all great answers. But I'm a teacher in your school. So I'm telling you, acha, theek hai, main to karna kya maine? What is it I have to do? It's great as a strategic ambition, a goal, to create thinkers. But that's your vision. I'm a teacher. I come, I teach a set and go back. How do I translate this to what my job is? That's where the problem is. Now, you had 3 different institutions probably represented with 3 different answers. Somebody may say to create livelihoods for human beings. Somebody may say just to create better human beings. Somebody may say just to keep the evolution of mankind going, we need schools, we need education. People must know how the world works. There are different answers. So I just thought, since you said black, I had to ask you a question. So we'll go over experiences, my experiences. So normally a good place to start is the beginning. But my argument is, if you start at the beginning, you're always going to tell me as a student in school that you are here. Now my argument is, please don't tell me I'm here. Show me where you want me to go and tell me how I can go there. So I'd like to start at the destination. Where is it that we wish to go? So in management terms purely, you never tell your team where they are. You are useless. Last time also in the debate you came last. Last time also you failed that exam. That's all right. Everybody fails. But tell me, son, you are capable of ABC. Hold my hand and let's walk this route. Let's go there. Probably a better way to treat a human being. Schools, academic institutions, colleges, in a general sense, miss the individual for the content. So a school which is able to see the child through the prism of the syllabi is the one that succeeds in any of those 3 ambitions. If the child gets hidden in that maze of academic curriculum or whatever curriculum is there in your school, then the child will never be a human being, will acquire the graduation, qualification, get a job, live life and die happily. All that is fine. But maybe these 3 ambitions wouldn't have been fulfilled. So that's my view. So the place where we want to go is always a great place to begin. Keep telling me about where you think I must go and why I have the capability. Give me the tools to reach there. So Just in case you thought I'm somebody who's been hired from the neighborhood, you know, there are a lot of acting offices here, somewhere here. So, you know, so I'm actually this. That's my day job. In fact, once I finish this, I go back to work. So I'm actually a Lieutenant General, so you got to believe that. I even have my iCard here for those who may want to check it. Yeah. So I'll talk to you about building futures. Now, there's a very... so, ma'am, can you see the future? Okay, sorry, what do you do? Solungo, you're the principal from Adyar. There must be 2 or 3 more principals from Adyar. Can you see the future? Can you see tomorrow, day after tomorrow, 5 years, 10 years?
I see today.
Can you see the future? Yes, no. In the answer, la rendu choice tha irukku.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, how?
With the hope that I have today, and I'm working towards the future.
Hope is...
No. The thing is...
Hope is 50-50. Indian team also hoped.
Yeah.
2-0 Bangladesh. So, adu hope illalla. Belief to win. So, you're saying you can see the future.
Yep.
Ma'am, just put your hand out. Just put your hand out. Sir, touch ma'am's hand. Just touch her hand. Touch her hand. So, you touched her hand. Can you touch the future?
Absolutely no.
Absolutely no. So, here is my argument. As teachers and principals, you not only see the future, not only do you touch the future, you build the future. Every day, the future comes walking or in a bus or on a cycle or a scooter, or some very rich people come in car also to your school every day. That is the future. And we all see it. When we see them as the future, probably our behavior towards them will change. Now, why have I used the word behavior? Psychologists have proven, and this is not my argument, that the teachers most remembered or the subjects most remembered are not for the quality of the knowledge of the teacher. It's because of the behavior of the teacher. Even within the army, there has been enough research to show that at the end of it, you can bark an order, you can shout out an order, you can just, by virtue of your authority, get an order executed. But the one that lasts the longest is because the social connect that the originator of the order has with the receiver of the order. That comes under the category of human behavior. So if I ask you all to look back into your own lives and say, which was the teacher that you remember the most? In all your years of school, you might probably go back to grade 2, 3, 4, 5. And the reason will not be that teacher was, no, what? She was next to Einstein. She had an IQ of 170, 145, okay, 110, whatever. It's the teacher who was the most compassionate. It's the teacher who would have been kind. It's the teacher who would have seen you as an individual child and treated you like that rather than somebody who was awesome at their job. So that is why behavior, you are blessed. I'm a soldier. I'm from the infantry. Our job is fighting. My job is killing people, actually. It's destroying futures. You are blessed. I mean, you will be seen in the same category as our doctors. Doctors are life givers. You are life creators. You build the future. So that is your role. That is therefore your responsibility. So somewhere down the line, commercial interests, professional requirements do take over. But at the end of all this, this is the core of your being. Fantastic. So this is my favorite line. You cannot have a conversation if you aren't willing to say, I could be wrong. Every teacher, and you'll have to forgive me for saying this, today teachers are almost dispensable. Almost. I say because you do need a guide, you need a mentor, you need a friend rather than a teacher. Because, truth be said, grades 5 and above, many kids in your class will probably know more about the subject you're teaching than you do, which is fine. Which is fine. Your job is to extract that knowledge from that kid, transmit it to the rest of the children so that they also benefit from that knowledge. Somebody else has another fragment of knowledge, extract that and put it. In the process, your mind also gets fertilized with a million new ideas. That is the essence of teaching today, as opposed to probably when I went to school, or even a few years back. So it has to start with argument. We have to get our kids to believe that unless they question something, the real value will not come up. So even when we were in the army, and even now, when a guest speaker comes, we normally say, don't ask questions. Polite, guest speaker, an authority, stage, question lang ke kudada. My view is the opposite. Unless you take that speaker apart, you will never know the real value of that speaker, and it will never get transmitted. So please ask the hard questions. Get your kids to ask you the hard questions. When they make presentations to each other, which they do these days, I believe quite often, let the hard questions be asked. Let a class 10 student actually stand in front of class 6 and answer the more difficult questions. That is when two things will happen. That class 6 will believe, ki, wow, this is what I want to be when I become class 10. Class 10 will believe, wow, I am now worthy of being a leader. And that kid will go out and become an awesome person. Your three ambitions will get fulfilled. So that's my argument. I have nothing new to tell you. I've already said that. I have no qualifications. I have nothing new. All of you all know everything that I'm going to say. Three or four things that I think all leaders in general and school, educational, institutional leaders in particular must have. First is, what you see are various depictions of DNA as they are printed within our body. What I'm trying to say is quite simply change. It's very difficult to let go of our own pasts. It's very difficult to let go of the way I was taught and to teach in a different way. But the fact is, a lot has changed between the time you all were taught and the time you are teaching. So if you are able to, A, is accept this change, B, understand this change, and C, control this change, you will be outstanding leaders. That's all my simple argument on change. So I think change, the ability to accept it, is a critical requirement. As principals, there is a X factor which you have to add. After all, I believe principals are paid better than teachers, normally, most of the time. Yeah. So this is that extra increment which you have to deliver. That is to identify that place in the change. So while the change makers would be your vice principals and your coordinators and heads of department and so on and so forth, your job is to sit and create that place in the future where you want your school to go, or you want your kids to go, or you want your education to go. That is your job. The second one is a Chinese Mandarin phrase or an alphabet. Now I wonder if anybody in the audience can read the Mandarin script. Sir? Theriyada? Only madam? Don't know. Tamil theriyuma? Anna pesala Tamil. Okay. But Chinese, no. Okay, so I have a confession. I also don't speak Chinese. And I don't know Chinese. But I do know that in the Mandarin alphabet, Chinese is a very interesting language. So this is an alphabet. It's also a word. It is also a phrase. It can also mean different things in different contexts. So it's a very complicated language, which is what makes it very difficult. But this is what it means, quite simply. Respect. So who would you have to respect? Everybody. And I think in a school you have to start with the reason for your existence, that is the children who come to your school. You have to start with respecting them. When I'm saying respecting them, respect where they've come from, respect their current status, socially, mentally, psychologically, physically even, respect where they have to go in the future. Put these three together into the manner of delivery of your content and we won't go wrong. So this respect is very important. You cannot say, the moment you say that, you're finished. The moment you say you're always like this, it's finished. So respect is critical. And there's one third thing. Now, I want, ma'am, your APS, illa? So I have to ask you a question. I am the chief patron of APS. So நீங்க சொல்லுங்க, is this a real creature or is it part of a movie set or a toy, stuffed toy? If you don't know, it's okay. No, அதெல்லாம் இல்லை. Yes, no, I don't know. Looks like எல்லாம் அந்த மல்டிபிள் சாய்ஸ்ல சாய்ஸே கிடையாது. Yes, no, I don't know.
So it's something created.
Yes, no, I don't know.
Yes, I know.
It is a stuffed, it is a creation, it's not a real thing.
It is as good as real.
Madam, if a child answers this, what marks will you give? Your choices are, yes, it is a real creature. No, it is not a real creature. C, I don't know.
Yes, it is a real creature.
Yes, it is a real creature. Do you know the name? If you are saying it's a real creature, do you know the name?
I was wondering if it was squid, sir, but I don't know. It doesn't even the
squid illa.
Squid, not.
Ninga vegetarian, huh?
Yes, 100%.
That is why you don't know what a squid looks like.
It's a microorganism.
It's not a dust mite. Oh, goodness. No, it's not a dust mite.
It's a microorganism.
Who's that?
Here. In the corner, right side.
Who's right? My right, your right.
Yeah.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, what is that?
Yeah, it's a tardigrade, I think so.
You cannot look into your phone and then give me an answer.
No. I'm a biology teacher.
Okay?
Yeah.
Fantastic.
It's a microorganism
No,
which
please,
can
no.
survive.
Then turn around and tell the class about this organism.
This microorganism can survive in any circumstances, atmosphere, even in the space. So it has life expectancy of many years. Yes, that's it.
எவ்வளோ மார்க் தேர்வில் இந்த ஆன்சருக்கு 10 மார்க் கொஸ்டின்.
If you ask me, I would give 3 out of 10.
For your honesty, please sit. Yeah, so this is it. It's a real creature. It's found at the bottom of the ocean. At its fattest, it's got lovely names. It's called a moss bear. It's called a moss piglet because it's very cute. It's 0.5 millimeters. Okay, when it's dehydrated, it becomes like dust. It can fly off in the dust till it finds some water and then becomes plump like that again. It has gone into space and survived. It survives at the bottom of the ocean. It survives at plus 57, 58 degrees centigrade. It survives at minus also. It is an awesome creature. So when you talk of resilience, when you talk of adaptability, when you talk of being willing to be subjected to a zillion pressures, you cannot get better than this. Most of all, it looks damn cute. So I suggest all principals, please put this photograph somewhere. Let your kids see this. It's an outstanding trivia information. Most human beings don't know about this. So what all does it tell me? It tells me what is the power of tenacity. It just doesn't let go. What is the power of fortitude, strength, courage? What is resilience? What is perseverance? The ability to not let go. So it just won't die. Quite simply, it doesn't let go of life. And it's awesome. So, tardigrade, so awesome. Biology teacher, sir, fantastic. So, there's a Harvard Business School review which studied companies. And it said that the quality of leadership accounts for, and then there's a percentage there which I've blacked out. Yeah, somewhere there I blacked it out. Companies' performance. But let's say I change the word companies to schools. So I want you to tell me a good principal, good school management, good school leadership will translate to how much variance in performance, ma'am? Yes? Ninga solunga. How much do you think that number will be? There is a number here. Is it 80%? Can a principal come to a school and change the performance variable by 80% in 1 year?
Yes, possible.
80%?
Possible.
1 year?
Yes. Nowadays, change is very fast.
No, I'm not change.
Yeah,
It's
it is
increase in performance.
possible.
80%.
Yes.
Wow. Ma'am?
It depends on various factors.
Number, ma'am.
I don't
Kitna?
think 80%.
How much can it be? What is a reasonable number? I'm asking you a reasonable. Her reasonable is 80.
But then that would be guesswork, right?
No, I'm asking you.
Me.
Your view.
I can try out for 90%.
Wow. Ma'am? 70. Okay, I'll tell you how much it is for companies. 15 to 20, which is an awesome percentage. 15 to 20 is awesome. So if anything more can be achieved, it's fantastic. Fantastic. So who is this magic principal? Is this a principal who's topper in 10th class, 11th class, 12th class, BA, BSc, B.Ed, M.Ed, M.Phil, PhD, topper, first rank, great principal? Maybe, may not be. Let us say you don't have somebody who's a B.Ed at all. I know our system doesn't allow people like that to become principals. So you have to give fancy designation like correspondent, director, academics and bullshit. That's fine. But my argument is, we probably go wrong in picking the best teacher and making him or her a principal. Because a principal has to do a million other things. The moment you pick a good academic and you kill them with administrative load, bus driver varla, and the aya odipeta, or payan took it, she's not handled these things before, or he. Their mind is not wired for those things. They're better off saying in the lesson plan, the substitution teacher 2 have not come, and then that principal is a master to manage. But bus accident, police car vanta, district education chap has come, he wants, you know, your toilets are not working, your fire extinguisher. That's not, I mean, really, somebody else's job. So do we pick the right people? That's my question. I'm not giving any answers. I would be very happy if we find, I mean, the academic prerequisites could be just those, could have. But you require outstanding administrative skills to be a principal, particularly of largest schools, because it's about person management. The principal cannot do anything by themselves, or herself or himself. A great principal gets the entire team alongside. Not in front, not behind, alongside. That is what changes a good school to a great school. But 15 to 20% is very successful even in business terms. 80 to 90 is just awesome. So tell me one quality you think a principal must have. One quality. I am now be accused of asking only the front row of the questions because my eyesight is slightly limited. So, ma'am in the green sari who's not looking at me. Aap bataiye. Please tell me one quality you think a teacher or a principal must have.
Must be able to empathize with
Empathy
teachers and
is great,
students.
ma'am. So no, you don't need the mic. I'll repeat.
A good listener.
Good listener. Awesome.
Patience.
Listener, patience, kind of related. Patience is all right.
Approachable.
Approachable. Lovely sari you're wearing. Huh?
Compassionate.
Compassionate. Fantastic, ma'am. You never thought I'll cross the floor and come this side. I see a lot of politicians on TV, so crossing floor is like, huh?
Should have a good vision.
Vision, okay? Vision is important, sir. Good coordinator. You're a principal? Awesome, yeah.
A person who implements
Okay, when did you graduate from college or school?
2017.
2017, that's many years back. Okay, now tell me, what would you, 5 qualities you would have really loved to see in your teachers or principals?
They have been up to date.
Just qualities, 5 words.
Kindness.
Kindness,
People who are.
one word na. Correspondent, brevity.
Knowledge.
Knowledge. Kindness, knowledge.
A people's person.
People person, okay. Empathy la vandru adu, but people person.
A good knowledge of the subject.
Knowledge. Knowledge rendu thoram solte. Mark onu dhaan kadaikum.
And very interactive.
Interactive. People person, interactive. I need to speak to your editor. Ma'am?
Integrity.
Wow. Okay, integrity is awesome.
Identify the talents in children.
Okay, identify talents. Sir? Understanding is great. Sir, there, at the end. Confidence is very important, ma'am. आप दोनों साथ-साथ बोलेंगे मैं मर जाऊंगा. हाँ. Collaboration, okay. Good rapport with the students. There's a young student there, I think. You're in which school or college? Omega 9. School da there. Okay, which class are you, son? 11th standard. What would you like to see? One quality you want to see in your teacher? என்ன பாரு நீ அங்கேயே just one.
Understanding.
You want the teacher to be able to understand you. Awesome. I think the student has said it all. If a teacher is able to understand the student, that teacher becomes a great student. Thank you, son. Well done. Actually, it's so nice. The moment he gave his answer, his friends around him are shaking his hand and saying, awesome job. So fantastic. Yeah. So we've seen so many qualities. Now tell me the one which you don't want to see or wouldn't like to see. Ma'am? Like me. My job is like that. My job is like, yeah, correct. My job is like that. My job is like that, ma'am. I am in the army. If I don't do that, there will be disaster. So that is my job. That's the nature of people who wear uniforms. That's a form of leadership. It's required in some places. You're saying in your workspace, least required. Great.
A good communicator.
What should not be there?
What should not be there? Arrogance.
Ego, arrogance. Ma'am?
Dismissive teacher.
Okay. Dismissive. Okay. Okay. Very important. Partial. Correct. Anger. Not a good quality.
Should be on time.
Respect for time.
Respect
Okay.
for time.
Anger. Illa. What don't you want to see? Okay. So the point of this entire thing was a little exercise which I would encourage you to do in your schools or within your little teams. Quite simply, make a graph. List out the values which you think are important to you in your school. The plus points, 10, 15 of them, whatever you think, your school. Every school's got a different culture, a different operational ethos, a philosophy even. So what is important for your school, write down those 10 qualities, print out a form, a graph, give the values on 0 to 10 and the qualities on A to L or whatever. Get people to make their own assessment on each of those qualities on a score of 10. Put a date on it, file it. Keep it with you. Put a date on it. Do it at the start of the session, start of a quarter, on a Saturday when you have to work, on a Saturday when you really shouldn't be working, but you should be doing self-improvement. Please do it. Now the qualities can be any. I've written out a few. There are so many of them. I've said most of these which were spoken about. And I've written, nobody said passion. You know, for me, passion is also very important. Because passion can change the ordinary to the outstanding. Lack of passion can do the exact opposite. So let me give you an example of what passion can do or what it cannot do. So let us say I was delivering the same keynote and I had a file that was kept at this lectern. And I opened the file and I spoke in this volume. It's a decent volume. All of you all can hear me. Fair enough. So I look down because I refer to my notes and I keep speaking like this through the 45 minutes. You will need a tea break with some real, not tea, you need a coffee break or maybe a cigarette break very quickly. So passion can change. We had a social studies teacher. I don't know, social studies is still a subject or not. Unfortunately, the principal would always program social studies soon after lunch break. Governance. And the teacher would always talk to the blackboard. This is how she would teach. 40 minutes. And she had a beautiful handwriting, but we couldn't see it because our handwriting would start at the bottom of the page and go somewhere there. Horrendous. All of us failed in social studies. Every year. Every year, without fail. So, passion can make a difference. Now, when you plot the graph, you get a volume. Please do the same exercise over the same attributes a little later in time. Maybe after 6 months, maybe at the end of the year. All of you all as principals have to do appraisals of teachers, right? Now, there are appraisals, there are standard phrases which everybody uses in appraisals, we all know that. But at the end of it, this is a great tool for appraisal. If that person has said, my ability to communicate is, let us say, 6 out of 10. I have given myself 6 out of 10 at the beginning of the year. At the end of the year, have I gone to 6.5? That means I've made an improvement. So the volume of the graph must increase. Whether it's knowledge, whether it's ability to empathize, whether it's cooperation, whether it's helping somebody else, whether it's volunteering for extra jobs in the school, whatever you have, it has to improve. Similarly, you have a graph for bad qualities. I've written most of them, which you've said. I think I've written almost all of them. None of you all said careless. But careless is also not a great quality. So the graph of the negative values should shrink, and the graph of the positive ones should. You can do this at home. You can say, in a family, what qualities do we need? When I do these sessions for large private companies, I encourage them to do a mutual assessment. So quite simply, I fill up my form and I give it to you. And I will never know who's done it. So it's turned around within the team. Somebody else also assesses me on the same variables. So I might think in communication I have 10 out of 10. Somebody else may give me 8. Now the gap between the two is what I would call as the blind swath. It's not a blind spot because you have a band of qualities. It's the blind swath. And that is where improvement is required. It's a great bonding exercise. It's a great leadership exercise. You won't find this in any management book, because this is something which I've created over many years of experience. Try it. It works beautifully. And you're free to move the qualities around. I mean, you can pick 5, 10, 15, whatever you choose, and get people to see where they need to improve. Everybody needs to improve. Fantastic. So in a leader's DNA, what do we see? Rahul, you have to tell me when I have to finish. So you see so many things in a leader's DNA. I have put together 6 of them. But my argument is, the others are all right. For a principal, for me, the key is here. Before being the principal, how many of you all were taught to be a principal? You do a course, refresher course. How did you then become a principal, suddenly? Because till yesterday you were an outstanding, TGT, PGT, whatever. How suddenly principal? It's almost like there is no criteria or education required to transit from an outstanding teacher to an effective principal. So awareness and job-specific skills are very important. All of us need to educate ourselves continually because change is happening. But it's more so for those who assume leadership roles in any organization. Before I became a general, did somebody teach me to become a general? No. They told me, sweetie, here's your promotion. From tomorrow, you're a general. I said, awesome. Let me feel good first. And the feel good, I pointed, I'm still going there. So that is how it works. You need to learn. All of us do need to learn. And that learning is different. Each of us finds different ways of learning. Which is why, and I've seen this in Rupa so many times, she's had this amazing contact with almost all the principals she's worked with from when she was a very young teacher. So quietly she'll take the phone and go outside the room and call Mrs. Call. Mrs. Call was some random principal when we were very newly married. And it was a newly raised army school, I think. Yeah, in Firozpur, Bhuj, Tibri, yeah, someplace. Tibri is in Gurdaspur in Punjab. So those are mentors. Because she's made that person a mentor now. And that is how it works. But that is informal education. So we need something more. That is something that's very critical to you all. The other thing about intelligence or knowledge or wisdom, the cumulative wisdom at a principal's disposal must be used for only one thing. In the context of this session, you are looking at 2040. So that is your problem statement. What is it that I need to do today which will make the kids in my school today ready for 2040? That is your simple problem statement. Now, once you flesh that out, you will get a plan or a course of action. Now, that is what should be occupying bulk of your time. A principal should not be involved in transport, building, toilet not working, parent angry, buddy bus failed, buddy infirmary didn't work, nurse ran away with medicine, Aya's having an affair with somebody. These are not principal jobs. Principal is an academic appointment. This is my view. And school managements may not like this view of mine because it costs money. But the reason a school exists is academics. And for that job, you've searched long and hard, done multiple interviews, got one principal, and then you're telling her, bus la kaat come here. We need to change that. A principal's job is academics. You can have a registrar, an administrative head, or a correspondent, or whatever for the rest of the things. Now, when you're only concerned with academics, within that, my recommendation is, or my suggestion is, as a leader, you have to look beyond. The day after tomorrow. Today and tomorrow today is done by your teachers, tomorrow is done by your coordinators. Your job is day after tomorrow, in a figurative sense. So you have to see what letter can I write to the NCERT to improve this content of syllabi in physics chapter of light. If every school is able to write one letter a month to the CBSE on how the content can be improved, we will have a completely different educational system. So every school principal, every month, one letter, positive suggestion, improvement of content. You may argue that who listens in Delhi? Fine. My argument is somebody will listen. 1 is better than 0. 2 is better than 1. So unless we write, we'll always be 0. So let's do it. And then this is a beautiful forum you already have. So I'm sure it'll work. So that's what I'm saying. So all the intelligence must go into solving problems of tomorrow. So you combine your wisdom with the vision which you've articulated, raising learners for 2040. Combine these two, you will be able to foresee the requirements. Once you foresee the requirements, you drive the change that will be able to fulfill those requirements. And in so doing, you will not only predict outcomes, you will begin charting courses, and you will begin creating the future. That is what principals do. That is what I expect of principals. So when all of you all started your careers, you were like this, you came into a fresh job as a young teacher somewhere, you would have been nervous, first day in your school. You can go back in your own minds as to first day you ever entered into any school. God forbid it would have been a high school class, you would have been roasted by the children. That is how it works, and that is how it should be. So you came in like this. Now that school principal told you lesson plan, rehearsal, ABC, I hope all these things happen. So you're prepared for what happens. So this is what that principal does. Puts you on a track so that you're steady and stable and you have a direction. Now once you get into the class, that plan goes for a 6. It becomes like this. Because one kid probably today having a phone, you might say phones are not allowed in your school, but I will humbly disagree, because compliance is always a matter of issue everywhere. Somebody may be looking out of the window. Somebody may say, sir, ma'am, bathroom, toilet, and never come back. So these things are pretty common. I mean, you're used to it, you deal with it better than I do. So that is the reality of a classroom. There's one angry parent. Nowadays, fashionable schools encourage teachers to speak to all parents. So that poor teacher is never free. The teacher goes home and 100 parents are calling her up. It's a joke. It should never happen. You want to meet in the school, whatever listed down time, and that's the end of the story. So anyway, when you become a coordinator, you become something like this. Depending on the number of subjects or sections or HODs you're handling, you're a bigger team. Now, suddenly your knowledge of physics or geography becomes less important than your ability to manage all these gears. So that's where the training comes in. But when you eventually become a principal, this is how your world will look. There's a management, and there's a DO, and there's a school board, and there's an NCERT book. And there are some obnoxious diagrams and lessons for books. I saw one, maybe it was in Australia, I don't remember, where I think they were looking at gravity, and there's a man standing on a platform with a gun here, and says if he shoots himself, what will gravity do to the man? Ridiculous. Can you not find a better example? So what do you want every kid to say, practice gravity like that? But those are also books, they're prescribed, somebody's okayed them, they're published, you're buying them, I'm buying them for my child, they're published. Now my argument is, through all of this, as individuals, you will always be like this. So the gears inside your brain must work towards the vision which you've articulated for yourselves. If that does, you will overcome the rest of the clutter. If it doesn't, then we will have to do something to energize those gray cells in all our minds. So how do we do it in the army? Very simple. First thing is, we have a vision which you already have. Now, it's not enough to create a vision. You need to be able to focus on that vision. Because the moment you go back, your management will tell you, next year school strength double panno. Place kadiyadu, bus kadiyadu, aya kadiyadu, lab kadiyadu. But I want 30% more admissions. So suddenly you're chasing admissions now. Then somebody else will say, why did we not have an annual day? Where was the sports day? You can turn on and ask, where is the sports ground? But the management will say, where is the sports day? Hire one sports ground and do it. So now you're doing everything but what you were supposed to do. My recommendation is, please hold on to this focus. Keep that focus of what your academic vision is, because that is the raison d'etre of your school. That is the reason all of us exist in that school. So focus, very important. Goals, small goals. Don't look at the big goals. Don't say, I'm waiting for somebody else to change the system. It will not happen. Let's look at the small goals. I mean, look at somebody who's been shot and who's lying in a hospital bed. The day that person puts his foot down, that is a victory. The day there's one more step, that is a second victory. Now, if you say till you're running on the track, I will not say it's victory, then it may not be the right thing. So set small goals. Celebrate the success of those goals. It must be big celebrations. Cohesive team. Every school has got teachers of different levels of capability, commitment, performance, and I dare say human requirements. Now, the first 2, 3 can be changed if you change the last one, which is the human requirement. Because HR, that is why HR exists. If you're able to look at the person and cater to that personal needs, 9 times out of 10, that person will outperform and deliver more than their capability. So that is why cohesive teams are important. Everybody is important. Don't say, and the teacher vela kuduthalum pandadilla so kudukka maten. Happiness, the teacher will come on first for the pay and never come for work. And there will always be teachers like this. I mean, in every organization, so as mine. So please involve everybody. Everybody will then perform to some extent. Share the excitement. So, sir, lovely grey jacket, where's the party? Ma'am, I love your sari. The border is very nice. Where's the party? Sir is wearing a Nehru jacket, Modi jacket, whatever. Jacket nanarke, where is the party? So lovely yellow, lovely earrings, lovely glasses, new car, whatever be the reason. Anniversary, birthday, husband got a new job, husband ran away. No, husband ran. Whatever it is, celebrate the smaller things. In a school, the principal will take the lead. You start these celebrations, everybody else will start participating and they will start their own celebrations. That makes for a happy family. Happy families always deliver. Communication, we have spoken about communication, always. The critical component of... Madam, another? 5 minutes? Okay, I'll finish in 5. The most critical component of communication is thinking. Now I want to ask the principals, how much time on a working day after you reach your principal's cabin do you have uninterrupted? Where you are thinking on a whiteboard or on a paper as to what to do for the future. Now please don't tell me till the last bus has reached its destination and come back to school. Then you'll never have any time. So this is your prime job. The second one is listening, which somebody said good listener. I don't know who said it, but good listener. Then is speaking. A principal must stand and talk to kids on a daily basis or on a weekly basis. The kids must die to listen to the principal. So when you come, you can't walk in unprepared and ruffle your papers and, humble and fall, stumble over your words. You just have to speak like that. When you speak like that, that's where the theater comes in. That's where the storytelling comes in. If you're an outstanding communicator, the kids will become great communicators automatically. And that is key to many other things in life. Last is the non-verbal. Your body language is very important. the number of kids who have told me it is important for teachers and principals to dress smartly is not even funny. I have a daughter, she's 24 now, but you ask her about that teacher, so, wow, what footwear the teacher wears. Because the teacher wears gazab footwear, this kid is listening in class. Is it important? Yes, it is. Yes, it is, because your public personality is whether you like it or no. The fact is you're on stage, whether you like it or no. So you can dress shoddily because you say, I'm like this only. That's okay inside the Alphabet or Google or whatever it is. That's okay. Nobody sees them. But it cannot be when you go to work. Because you can't have, I'm not saying have a uniform, but your uniform must be to dress appropriately, not lavishly, not rich, but dress well. If you take pride in your dress, you'll tell the kids to take pride in their dress. And that translates into a multitude of other pluses. So communication, we went from there to where. Last thing, this is something you must know. Of all personal communication, only 7% is the spoken word. Rest 93 is, I don't have to use the word, is theatrics. It's eyes, it's body language, it's the expression, it's the intensity of the voice, it's the passion, it's everything else. 93%. Goodness. So 93% means very good marks. So use that 93. Don't just use the spoken word. Some nuggets from a master's handbook. Hey, you have to tell me when there's crisis, huh? I'll just cut. Crisis. You cannot make everybody happy. So please, you're not in a popularity contest. There will be the odd employee in your school, odd parent, odd child who will think you're terrible. It's all right. That's par for the course. As long as you have the best interest in mind and as long as you display, somebody said fairness. So as long as you're fair, it's fine. Don't be afraid to challenge the younger people. Your world is full of young people who acquire knowledge, good, bad, correct, incorrect, factually incorrect, anything from all over the world. They will argue with you. Please engage with them. Don't be afraid to do it because it's all right. It's all right for a teacher to say, I don't know, but you tell me. You tell me you seem to know. Somebody else has a great view. Put it within, and that's how teaching takes place. Details are very important. I mean, I don't need to tell this to principals. I mean, you're masters of, detailing big visions, but they are very important. Keep looking beyond what your task is, because a principal's job never finishes. It never ever finishes. A teacher's job may finish. A principal's job doesn't finish, so you have to keep looking above and beyond. Sometimes we don't look because we are uncertain of what we may find. Don't worry. If it's uncertain, then that's an answer you'll find, which will make it more certain the next time. The one question, okay, the questions we are normally taught to ask are there on your screen. They are the who, why, when, how, where. I have one question which I think is very important. For principals in particular, what next? So you have to be able to, at the beginning of this year, begin work on the next year's almanac. Almanac, timetable, distribution of responsibility, creation of that new subject, that new lesson plan, teacher distribution, whatever it is. Today's you've done last year, and today's is being managed by somebody else. So that clutter you have to come out of, it's not easy. Principals have to make things simple. So you have to be simple, crisp, clear, consistent. So I've bunked a class, somebody else had bunked a class. You can't tell that chap, you don't do it again, and tell me I'm rusticated for 7 days. That's ridiculous. Does it happen? I hope it doesn't, but sometimes it does happen. So you've got to be careful, because that can have disastrous effects. This is my most favorite slide. But this is what principals must do, generate happiness. When we were in school, we were terrified of going to principal's room. I asked one or two principals who came and met me to invite me for this function, and they said, no, kids are very happy to come to my room. Very happy also is dangerous, because that is bad for the teacher. Because the teacher is very strict, then say, man, I'm going to principal, like this. All kids walk like this for some reason. I find that damn cute, but I hope it's still like that. Yeah, so happiness, very important. Teachers must generate happiness inside classrooms. The people in your organization are the most important. No fancy plan from NCERT, CBSE, this conclave will help you succeed. It is your people. So the sooner you're able to get your people to do what you want collectively as a group, you'll succeed. Last is the key to happiness. Where's that middle there? Where's that boy in that green t-shirt who gave me an answer? In a school, Omega Alia, please come up, son. Idhar ho ja. Hey, konjo seekro. Hurry up, sweetie. I don't need a mic. You come up. Hurry up, hurry up. Stand here. Turn around. Who holds the key to your happiness? Purnita question. Yeah. Your happiness, who has the key? Father, mother, brother, sister, girlfriend. You're studying physics, maths, or what are you studying? Physics, sir. Maths, physics, chemistry. Oh. So your physics, sir, chemistry, ma'am, maths, sir, principal. Who has the key to your happiness? Or who all have? Ni cholo. Your answer.
Anyone close to me? Closer.
Sweetie, you give me an answer. Who all have the key to your happiness?
Mom and dad.
Aludana? Brother liya unoke?
Brother irukku sir.
Unga sir vandirukara?
Yeah.
Out illiya key?
Huh?
Sir, please stand up. Aurgutta irukka illiya key oda happiness?
He has.
That is 3 keys. Then, girlfriend?
Sir, no girlfriend.
No girlfriend?
No girlfriend.
Class 11?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. Sorry, no girlfriend is okay.
No.
Tuition, sir?
Huh?
Tuition, sir?
No tuition.
IIT coaching pariya?
No.
Vendama? Good boy, So what will you do? You going for some coaching, cricket coaching, badminton, dance, theatre, song, football?
No.
School run out, enna பண்ணுவ?
Purely academics.
Bloody hell. You know, you must do something else. Nothing else.
I have something else after that.
What is that something else?
A magazine, production house, all that.
Awesome. So the production house or a head has your key to your happiness?
So I am the head, sir.
You're the head of the production house. Awesome. So I think I need to give you a medal for this. So this is a medal I normally don't give to civilians, but children are beyond civilians. So this is the golden palm. So this is what I wear on my uniform, okay? So it says on top, any task, anytime. And at the bottom it says Dakshin Bharat area, which is my formation. And behind, I'm not sure this is applicable to you, but maybe your parents will agree. So it says, in recognition of your service, thank you and God bless. Wish you happiness always, and it's got my name at the bottom. So this sun, I'm giving it to you in advance. So this is thanking you for your service. So there is a hope that you will go ahead and do some service which will benefit the larger society, yeah? You have to tell me your name now.
Vasisht Ganeshan.
Did you think you'll get one today? Awesome. Thank you. Yeah, I didn't want to go on to ask you. You said 3 keys, but my role is very simple. Please keep the key of happiness with you. So this is a metaphoric answer. Of course, parents are important. Of course, family, next of kin, friends are also important. I'm not saying you be an island and, disassociate from all of them, but this is a metaphorical, description. So when you keep the key of happiness with you, that person in your apartment who parked his car, inside that white line which is your, will look like this. That neighboring principal of your group schools, who's nasty to be nice, will look like this. The school management, which always comes and asks the most ridiculously stupid questions, look like this. And this bald general who's spoken to you for 1 hour now, who's being reminded to finish, will look like this. But you need to keep the key of happiness with you. So normally, so as principals, you are challenged to be the architects of a future. I'll argue of a glorious future. If you choose not to take this challenge, you have no option but to remain the defenders of a certain decline. That's the only 2 options that you have. So when you look at leadership, change, progress, growth, happiness, anything that adds to the value, don't look upwards, don't look beside, don't look downwards. All these are inside jobs. You can find them inside yourselves. You as in a person and you as in an organization. So this is normally the time where I would have told you a story, but I have no time for that story, so I won't do that. Please tell stories. Stories are the most powerful form of transmitting any form of information. So I won't do a story now. Otherwise, I was going to tell you the story of the rhinestone bracelet. It's an outstanding story. Google it and read it. There are many versions. It's an outstanding story. But I'll do one example of that. Ma'am, when you taught, what did you teach? You're a principal now. What did you teach? History. Science. Ma'am? Biology. Yeah, what did you teach? Physics. Okay. Wrong answers all. Correct. If you told me I taught children, I would have said yes. So children, young adults, grown-ups, because physics means chapter 1 to chapter 11, that's all. Or 1 to 12. Children means life. Little more than just physics. So that's the story, what the story is about, but I'll not tell you that now. So give me an answer to tell me, do you like this view? This is a dead school of principle. You want to inspire children of the future. Do you like this view? You should provide a view like this. That is when kids will run into your school. And that's the difference between a principal and a great principal. So that is the view I want your children to see. And that is my wish and my prayer for you, that your life be filled with views like this. Thank you very much. I have enjoyed speaking to you.